Okay, so thank you to everyone here who joined us on Business Basics Friday. I'm Safi Russell from SDR Consulting, Inc. And on this Business Basics Friday, we like to have a topic that gives value to small business owners, whether it be in the tax and accounting space or just everyday life. And we have a guest speaker followed by an open Q&A, general business questions, tax and accounting specific especially. And so a little bit about my background. I've been in the industry about 19 years. I'm a CPA and enrolled agent. I am based in New York, but I have a virtual practice, so I work with clients all over, and I mostly work with small business owners, helping them from business formation all the way through to tax preparation and all that fun stuff in between. And today we have guest speaker Shanta, who will be covering how to be profitable in your business as a mom and managing it all. And I'm sure she'll expand a little bit more and give some of her background. So Shanta, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm excited to talk about this topic because it is one that is near and dear to my heart, making sure that we keep family first in our business. So I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've been in the industry for about 15 years. I also am an enrolled agent, and I have a business that's called Mothers in Tax. And the purpose of Mothers in Tax is to help moms who are in the industry, predominantly women of color, who are trying to scale in the accounting and tax industry, which can be very challenging. So we give them the tools and the support and the network and all the things they need to help them scale to six figures. That is our mid-level course. We also have a higher level course that helps businesses who are already at the six-figure mark and above to start scaling to $1 million. So that's what we do. A little bit about the topic today. So in terms of having a business and being able to keep your family first, it's something that I think most anybody can do, but it does take some effort on your part. So I'm going to talk really quick about 4 main keys to doing that. So the first is you have to first understand what family first to you means, because for some people, family first means one thing, and for other people, family first means something else. So if for you, family first means being able to have the flexibility and being able to do things with your kids or go places with your family or travel and those types of things, that's one way of putting family first in your business. But then you have others who, like myself, have extremely busy schedules outside of business. So for me, a lot of times what family first means just being able to be there with my kids. So my kids, it's football season. My husband's a coach. My kids all play sports. And so it just means me to being able to show up at their activities and show up at their games and being able to support them in that way. But we don't get to do some of the more fun things as much as I would like to, simply because that our family is just not set up that way. So the first thing you have to do is define what is family first. The second thing you really want to do is outline your goals. One of the problems people have, not only in their business, but in their personal life, is that they don't have real goals. So if you don't have goals and you're saying what you want to do is have family be first in your, you want to have family first in terms of like the way your business is structured, you want to make sure that's always after your family, then you have to set that as a goal. And one of the first things that I do when members come into our Mothers in Tax courses, that we outline what are their whys and what are their goals, because you always want to make sure as you're setting your goal is continue to stay aligned with like what your whys are. So for me, my why is my family, and it's important for me to set that as a goal. So even as I'm growing, and even as my business and stuff is growing, that I'm not losing focus on, well, let me go from, where I started multi six figures to now I'm going to go to $1 million, but I moved to $1 million, and family then starts to fall to second, to third, to fourth. So anytime I set a goal, I'm always setting a goal with that in mind to make sure that any goals that I set will not infringe upon what my whys are, and it won't infringe upon me putting family first. So you want to make sure that you set family first in your business in terms of your goal setting, so that can stay aligned. And one of the ways I keep it aligned, which is my third point, is you're going to have support. So if you start, in the beginning, if you're just maybe six figures or maybe $200,000 or $300,000 a year, you can still kind of keep family first. But as your business starts to grow, it's going to be important that you bring in the team, you bring in the support, you do all of those things. So as your business is growing, family isn't falling again to second, to third, to fourth place. The only way to be able to do that is you're going to have to take certain things off of your plate and designate it to other people on your team, designate it to other people who can manage those things. And you're going to be really strong in some areas, and they're going to be strong in some areas. So you don't want to get a bunch of people who are just like you, because that's not going to serve you. What you need are other people who are strong in other areas. I'm not greatly organized, but I have an amazing admin, Ashley, who keeps me organized, who keeps me on task, who makes sure that I'm hitting things and thinking about things from an organizational perspective, that otherwise I may not think of, or I may forget or not realize I need to have in focus. So you want to have the team members to support you in such a way that your business can withstand itself and be strong and grow and do all of those things without it all falling to you. Because if it all falls to you, then you're not going to be able to keep family first as you begin to really scale into like the millions of dollars. And then that brings me to the fourth point is, so now you have what is family first for you, and you've defined that. You have number two, what are your goals? And you've aligned with that. Now you've brought in your team to make sure you can also continue to keep family first. But the last thing I want to talk about is support at home. So even though you have business support in the business, there are going to be things that you can no longer do at home because you are now busy with the business. So one of those things for me is cleaning. If I can get an amen from somebody, I don't really like cleaning, to be honest. It's not one of the things that I love doing. But because now I'm more busy, I don't have the time to do some of the deep cleaning that I used to do before I had a business. So one of the things I did was I hired a cleaner. I have somebody come twice a month. Lord willing, if my husband allows me at some point, I'll have her come once a week. Which will be even more effective. But you have to start bringing in the help and support that you need. I have my sister who comes and watches my kids 4 days a week after school, so that I can just get some final things done in my business. So I pretty much work from like 8 to 4 in my business, 4 days a week. So I'm not super busy, but I'm very profitable, and my business is doing really well. But I'm able to do what I do because I have the support, not only in the business, but I also have the support at home. And so those things are the things that allow me to keep family first. And so that I am not so bombarded with the business that I am just totally unavailable for my family.
Thank you. Those were all great points. And I was with you on the amen with the cleaning. So that's a good point, because there's the whole delegation aspect of it. I think a lot of small business owners are stuck on, if it's going to be done, it's got to be done by me. I struggle with that. And you have to kind of let go a little bit of that control, and then train people and know that they're going to make mistakes and give them grace, and be patient. And then once you have your system down pat, I realized I had to kind of write out my workflow, my tech stack, and all those things, so that I'm not the only one who knows it, because God, it happens, I'm sick or whatever, you don't want your business to take a haul. So I think once you have your systems in place and know what you're doing in your business step by step, you can then delegate, trust that person to then, do what you were doing, so you can do something else. And you're right, it's kind of, I've been in a position where like, I want to grow, but I don't want to be at the computer 24 hours too. So it's a juggle between knowing your numbers, knowing your budget, so if you can afford that help, and scaling, but also setting up that support, so you're not, at the computer 24 hours or out of the house 24 hours, whatever your business is. So that help in your business and help at home, those were key points. We also have a cleaning person. I'm working on weekly too, and I have like a detailed one and an okay one. So I'm like, but We have someone helping with meals, not 5 days a week, but a little bit of meal prep because yeah, there's just certain things that I'm not a big fan of cooking anyway. So it was a challenge for me to delegate those things. So as business grows, you definitely have more options. And that's really what it's about. A lot of people go into business for themselves because they want to have more options. They don't want to be stuck to the 9 to 5, requesting days off. I got to the point where I was like asking to leave early to get to my son's football game. And I said, yeah, this is not going to work. This is not
exactly.
I got to go on my own so I can make those decisions. So Shanta, if you can give a little background about, I know what your focus is right now, but just as you've grown your business from the beginning, maybe where you started at and then where you are now, that'd be great.
Yeah. So I started my business 3 years ago. And when I started, I actually was doing actual accounting and tax responsibilities, just like other professionals. So I actually started out with bookkeeping and some tax prep, where a lot of us start, right? Trying to figure out what is it that you really want to do in your business. So I started there. And I realized after about 6 months or so that I didn't love doing that. And I wanted to focus on something that I felt was more, more profitable, but what was also going to allow me to create the type of life that I wanted to live. And so one of the things I realized is that when I am doing more low value, high quantity services, that I am working a lot more. And so I was like, I don't want to do any low value, high quantity services. So I kind of got out of the tax prep and the bookkeeping for the types of clients that I was working with, to get into like the tax planning and resolution. And so once I figured that out, I started scaling really quick. I ended up becoming, I was doing that for a few months, and then I ended up becoming the CFO for Tiffany Aliche, the Budgetnista. So I was her CFO for about 15 months, and we scaled from 4 million to a $10 million company under my guidance. And a lot of that was really just getting really clear on the financials, which changed everything. They were finally feeling like it's okay to spend money. It's okay to pay people salaries that she had wanted to pay people and do things that she had wanted to do, but there was not enough clarity around the financials to be able to do that. So I was there to help bring some of that clarity and show them what we could do. And then she really is the person who catapulted me into starting the Mothers in Tax program, believe it or not. She is phenomenal with encouraging her contractors or workers to follow their dreams and the things that they want to do and supporting us in that. And so she was like, if that's what you want to do, you should really do it. And so I did. I don't know if I would have if I was not working for her. So I always tell her, I just, and am indebted to her. I just appreciate her so much. Because she encouraged me to do it. And then the business kind of took off from there. I started in the end of October last year. And the business from that point to this one has completely changed in terms of how we support and help our members. And so we see a lot of growth. People are coming in and within, a few weeks are doing, $11,000 deals when they have never done anything like that before, or, $8,000-9,000 deals. So we really have a lot of support and structure and things around that to help those who are in the course, because I am all about results. And so I'm results driven. So I want to see every person in my course scale. And I know that's not the typical mindset of most coaches. They're like, some people will and some people won't. I don't really think that. We do everything we can to make sure every member scales. If they don't scale, they're simply not doing the work, but we give them the direction, the experts, we pair them with experts. If they're working on their first cases, they've never done it before, so that they can guide them through. So we have all these things built in to make sure that they can have the type of success that they want to have.
Okay. All right. That's fair. And thanks for that. And I know, it's really about scaling. Some people, I guess they have that, I don't want to say small mindset, but they don't have a growth mindset, where they just want to make ends meet and they're fine with, that traditional self-employed model where you're just around the clock and, you see your kids, whenever, but, everyone's, like you said, everyone's family first means something different. So, it may be just the quality time that you're looking for, X amount of days per week, or, whatever it is for that person. But, it's definitely finding your niche, and understanding, sometimes there's things you're passionate about, but they don't make you money. So, it's about, learning your other skills and kind of figuring that out as well. And you won't know until you're giving it a shot. So like you said, you kind of started out, but you made a change right away. And that's the key. You don't want to be unhappy in your business. That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. And that's one of the reasons. So when I started out, because it took me like 18 months to figure out really what I wanted to do by the time I figured it out. Because I kept going back to like, well, let me try this because I'm knowledgeable in this. But where my heart really was, even back then, was doing CFO and coaching. I just was not comfortable enough to step out in that. So one of the things that we do now is when members come in, everybody has to take what we call a financial acuity test. And the financial acuity test is something that I created. It gives you a FAT score, which stands for financial acuity test. And what it does is it tells us what area in this industry that individual should practice in. So so from the beginning, like this is where you should practice. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have so much success, because we have people who are just like, I'm over here doing tax prep or bookkeeping because that's comfortable. But really, their FAT score, which really determines what is their zone of genius in this industry, is like consulting, CFO. So then we ask the question, well, why are you doing tax prep and bookkeeping? So we think you should do the CFO. And then we support them in getting to that place so they can start their business now and focusing on the area that is their zone of genius, because that's where you're going to have the most success. And it's not going to feel like work. I don't feel like I'm working because I love what I do. So, and I want everyone else to have that same experience.
Makes sense. Me too. Perfect. All right, good. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to raise a hand. If not, we will wrap up in a few minutes and kind of just do an outro. You want to let people know how they can get in touch with you as well, Shanta. And we will be back next Friday. So every Friday around 12 o'clock will be our Business Basics Friday session. So stay tuned for next week's guest speaker. If you have any topics that you want to hear about, feel free to connect with us on social media at SDR Consulting across all platforms, and let us know what you want to learn more about. And so I'm going to close out. So again, Safi Russell with SDR Consulting, Inc., Business Basics Friday, and we had guest speaker Shanta here to share about being profitable and in your business while keeping family first. So Shanta, you can go ahead and give your outro and how to get in touch with you.
Sure. So if you can find me at on social media platforms at the SheCFO, SHECFO, Charlie, Frank, Oscar. So the course is Mothers in Tax. If you look for Mothers in Tax on Facebook, you'll see our free group that we have. You can also email my team at customer support at Shanta, HONTA, Thomas.com, or find us at mothersintax.com.
Perfect. All right. Thanks so much for sharing, Shanta. Look forward to, working with you more in the future. And everyone have a great Friday and stay safe. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.